rulers of old, stripped of pride and glory. It feels as yesterday we were turning the wheels of progress, until the frost stopped it all, suddenly, without a warning. When tides had changed, they changed for all of us, no matter wealth or class. We've lost our world to snow, and with it, our last traces of humanity. We bid farewell to plenty, and for those who remained came the time to adapt. We decided to leave our homes and head north. We roamed for weeks, maybe months, leaving behind all the things we once believed had made us. It was hope pushed us forward, slowly, step by step. We knew the cost of our journey, and we paid the price 100 times. Finally, the time has come to build the last city on Earth.
Welcome back everyone, this is Mean Pooh with another video using the NVIDIA 1050 Ti and the Intel i5 7300. Today we are trying the game called Frostpunk. A lot of people have never heard of this game, and if you can tell, it's a city building survival type. It's developed and published by 11-Bit Studios for the Windows platform and was released on April 24th, 2018. The game is set in an alternate 1886 where the eruptions of two volcanoes, the first being Krakatoa, which is a volcanic island situated in the Sunda Strait between the islands of Java and Sumatra in the Indonesian province of Lampung. The second of the two is Mount Tambora. It is an active stratovolcano in the northern part of Sumbawa, one of the lesser Sunda mountains of Indonesia. Along with these two eruptions, the dimming of the sun and other unknown factors caused a worldwide volcanic winter. This in turn led to widespread crop failure and the death of millions. This event roughly lines up with the real-world 1883 eruption of Krakatoa, a volcanic event that led to global cooling. In response to this, several installations called generators were built by the British authorities in the coal-rich north. They designed them to be city centers in the event that dropping temperatures forced mass migration from the south. In all scenarios, you, the leader, will be in charge of a city around a generator and will have to manage resources to ensure the city's survival. You will start out with a small group of survivors that consists of workers and engineers and several small caches of supplies with which to build a city. From there, you will have to harvest coal, wood, steel, and food in order to keep your society warm and healthy in the midst of constantly fluctuating temperatures. Weather conditions and political turmoil can cause citizens to not want to work as hard. You have the option to use laws to regulate the productivity of your society and at the cost of possibly raising discontent. For example, allowing child labor or forcing temporary 24-hour shifts, but also laws to develop better housing and healthcare like prosthetics. Building a workshop structure allows you to research technology that will make the city more efficient and to scout the surrounding frozen wasteland for additional survivors and resources. There are currently 3 scenarios in the base game and 1 additional scenario offered in a free DLC, each with different backgrounds and storylines. The summary of just the first has you the leader of a group of explorers who fled the cold and the hunger of London in an expedition to find a supposed massive coal reserves in the north. Instead, your group gets separated from the main expeditionary party and discovers a massive heat generator in a giant sheltered crater and settles there. You'll begin to face the issue of people's dwindling hope as they find out through exploration a city similar to theirs called Winterhome has been destroyed, leaving few survivors. You'll have to make hard decisions in order to help the people find their purpose and stay hopeful. You will also have to prepare enough supplies to make sure the city survives an impending storm. This is an event that I didn't make it to while in my game, and I'm sure the road was going to be very hard. So let's look at the performance of this game. Frostpunk was really hard to get numbers for. There were a few factors that would cause the FPS to jump all over. We have 4 views. The first is the external map, where you can see the different points of interest for your explorers. The other 3 views are within the city. One is what I call the overview, in which you can see the whole city and the amount of workers in the facilities. The second lets you move a little closer so you can build different structures, and the third view lets you get even closer so you can precisely build or adjust your structures as you see fit. We have the standard very high to low settings, which are typical and have the game in full screen exclusive mode. So looking at the screen, you will notice that what we have seen in previous games, that we have an increase in temp for GPU and CPU as the preset is changed from highest to medium. We also see that the FPS is increasing, which is normal and expected. When examining low, we see that the temps have dropped and the FPS has increased. You would think that the trend would be for the CPU and GPU temps to increase as well, but just like in previous games, it decreased. This would be the optimal setting to use, as there isn't anything that is very noticeable while playing. I'm also going to say that playing on the highest will not be a problem, even though with the lower FPS. Sometimes playing games such as this, 30 FPS is all you need, and I think this is one of them. All screens move freely and smooth, and that's what we all want, right? If you have never tried Frostpunk, I think you may be missing a gem here. There are so many decisions to be made when building and researching. Some mistakes will cost you the game, while others will seem good while researching, but can greatly damage your reserves when the final product is deployed. Some decisions that I experienced that impacted my game was deciding whether to research better homes or go with medical upgrades. Better homes mean warmer homes, which keep people from getting sick. Building a sawmill versus having your people work in the snow is better because you can at least put heat in the mill instead of having your workers exposed. Sometimes your workers that are on expeditions will find survivors. You can either escort them back or send them to find their own way. The thing here is, if you escort the survivors and they get back quickly, you may not have enough resources to build the homes, or the homes may have to be built outside of the heating zone, which will cause them to sometimes get sick. You have to constantly keep an eye on food stores, as you can run out of food very quickly. Some resources that you have a lot of will be used twice as fast, especially if the temperature drops by 2 points and you have to turn up the heat for 48 hours using overdrive to fulfill a request. There are a few things that I noticed while playing the game which were very cool. When the automaton leaves tracks in the snow, they stay there for a very long time. When your workers go home for the night, the trails they made through the snow gets covered a bit from the snow that is blowing the next morning. You can see people with no homes trying to stay warm by the reactor core. You can rename characters in the game to make it more personal. This is something I would not do because people die a lot in this game. You can see the shadow of the crater move across the map as the day comes to an end. And lastly, you can turn the reactor core off to save fuel if you start to run low. The music is also great and gives me the vibe that all hope is lost and the survivors will be dying a slow death very soon. There's a lot going on here and I love it. I've played over 4 games before being thrown into the wasteland, and I will continue to play the game as I'm addicted at this point. Also, if you like this type of game, give it a try. I don't think you'll regret it. Just don't go in thinking it's Warhammer Total War. So ending with that, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. I'll be taking a small break for the holiday, and if you will be celebrating as well, then happy holidays or Merry Christmas, whichever you prefer, and I'll see you in the next game. Mean Poo, out.